I loved you with a kind of innocence that only comes when the heart doesn't know how fragile it truly is. Back then, love felt safe. It felt certain. It felt like something that could never break, no matter how hard the world tried. You were not just someone I loved. You were the place my soul rested when everything else felt loud and confusing. Our days were simple, yet meaningful. We talked about dreams we hadn't even begun chasing. We imagined futures that felt so real, I could almost touch them. I trusted you without hesitation, without doubt. When you smiled at me, I believed every promise behind that smile. When you said my name, it felt like home. I gave you my time, my patience, my understanding. I loved you in silence when words weren't enough, and loudly when my heart overflowed. I believed love meant staying, choosing each other every day, even when things felt difficult. I never imagined that loyalty could fade so quietly. There were small moments that mattered most, the late conversations, the shared laughter, the comfort of knowing someone truly saw me. I believed we were growing together, building something strong enough to survive anything. In my heart, there was no room for doubt, because love had convinced me it didn't need it. I ignored the world when it warned me that love could change. I thought what we had was different. I thought our bond was rare. I thought hearts like ours didn't betray each other. I didn't realize that sometimes love doesn't leave suddenly. It slowly slips away while one person keeps holding on. At that time, I was unaware of the distance quietly forming between us. I didn't notice how your words became shorter, how your eyes no longer searched for mine the same way. I trusted love to protect me, never imagining it would be the reason I'd learn how deeply pain could cut. I loved you fully, completely, without fear. And that love, once my greatest strength, would soon become the reason I struggled to breathe in a world that no longer felt safe. Love has a way of blinding us, especially when we're afraid of losing what matters most. Looking back, the signs were there, quietly waiting for me to notice. But I chose faith over fear. I chose trust over doubt. And in doing so, I ignored the cracks forming beneath us. You were still there, yet somehow already gone. Conversations felt forced, laughter sounded unfamiliar, and silence grew heavier than words. I told myself you were tired, stressed, overwhelmed. I made excuses for your absence because the truth felt too painful to consider. I felt the change in the way you listened, or didn't. The way your attention drifted elsewhere. The way I started questioning my own worth instead of your honesty. Love made me patient, but it also made me naive. I believed loyalty was automatic when love was real. There were nights I lay awake, replaying moments that no longer made sense. Your warmth felt distant, your reassurance felt rehearsed. Yet I held on to hope because letting go felt like giving up on everything we built. I started loving harder, thinking love could fix what was breaking. I tried to be enough, to fill a space I didn't even know existed. I didn't realize that the distance wasn't something I could close alone. You reassured me when I asked, and I believed you because I wanted to. I trusted words that no longer matched actions. I ignored the quiet warning in my heart, convincing myself that love meant patience even when it hurt. What I didn't understand then was that infidelity doesn't always begin with physical betrayal. Sometimes it starts with emotional absence, with choosing someone else's presence over the person who loves you most. By the time doubt finally found its voice, I was already standing at the edge of a truth I wasn't ready to face. And still, I hoped I was wrong. Because losing you felt unimaginable, and I wasn't prepared for the pain that was waiting. The truth doesn't always arrive with chaos. Sometimes it comes quietly, like a whisper that shatters everything you believed. When I found out, there was no dramatic confrontation, no shouting, no tears at first. Just silence. A silence so loud it felt like my heart stopped beating. You didn't deny it. And that hurt more than lies ever could. In that moment, everything we shared rewrote itself into something painful. Memories that once felt warm now burned with betrayal. Love turned into questions I could never fully answer. I wondered when I stopped being enough. When someone else became more important than the promises we made. I questioned every moment, every word, every smile that now felt dishonest. The person I trusted most had become the source of my deepest pain. What hurt wasn't just the betrayal, It was the realization that I loved you more than you chose me. That while I was fighting for us, you were already somewhere else emotionally. The void opened instantly, deep and consuming. I felt lost, confused, broken. I mourned the version of us that no longer existed. I mourned the future I believed in. And most of all, I mourned the part of myself that trusted so easily. You apologized, but apologies couldn't undo what was done. Trust once broken doesn't shatter loudly, it crumbles silently, piece by piece. I knew then that love alone wasn't enough to save us. Walking away felt like tearing my heart out. Staying felt like losing myself completely. I chose pain with dignity over love without loyalty. And even though leaving hurt, I knew staying would hurt more. That was the moment everything ended. Not because love disappeared, but because respect did. Losing you didn't just change my life, it changed me. The void you left wasn't something I could fill easily. It followed me into quiet moments, into memories, into dreams I no longer shared with you. Healing wasn't immediate. Some days, I felt strong. Other days, the pain returned without warning. But slowly, I learned that losing you didn't mean losing myself forever. It meant rediscovering who I was without you. I learned that love should never require betrayal to survive. That loyalty is not optional. That real love doesn't leave you questioning your worth. The void you left became a reminder, not of what I lost, but of what I deserved. I stopped blaming myself. I stopped replaying the past. I accepted that some people enter our lives to teach us lessons, not to stay forever. And while loving you broke me, it also showed me my strength. The pain didn't disappear completely, but it softened. It made room for self-respect, growth, and healing. I learned to trust again, not blindly, but wisely. I loved you with all my heart. And losing you left a void I can never fully fill. But that void no longer controls me. It reminds me that I survived, that I learned, and that one day, love will feel safe again.